Hello everyone, it is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one only, here with another exciting live stream. In this video, I'm going to be talking about my day-to-day, July 24th, 2019. Today, I did a lot of work. I've, again, made some additional changes to the weather app that I'm making for work. Um, Last time I said, like, oh yeah, I put the finishing touches on it. Finishing touches is not the correct word at all, or the correct, like, term of phrase. But I am glad that I've made progress on the weather app and that it's now looking more and more like a finished product. Though there definitely are still steps that I need to take in order to work on it. Kels said, "Hey, what up? I posted my power system on the Amino. Yo, Kels, don't forget to smash that like button. And yeah, I'll go and check out your power system on the Amino. No problem. Also, apparently, new super stickers are now enabled. I have no idea how those work, but if you guys figure it out, feel free to post some super stickers, whatever those are." But yo, Kels, yeah. Don't forget to smash the like button. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Let's see. Oh, so your boy Kels has split the power system into parts already. So I guess Kels, you already counted out like the 250 words and then you split it up based off of that? Or are they just split into parts, I guess, arbitrarily? And then Kel said, recommend reading one per stream. Let's see. Do 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 do. I'm about to run this through that word counter. Do 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 do. Bow bow bow. Do 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 do. 336. That's not too bad. Do 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 do. Okay. So, Kel said, I just split them when I felt the post was getting long. Okay. You didn't do a bad split. That worked pretty well. So Kel said, before I get into the power system, I want to explain what poker game is. Poker game up. Amino had a pop up come up. I want to explain what poker game is. Poker game is a web comic I plan on creating. Oh, Kels, you're on a web comic? Tell us more about the web comic. He says it's basically a sports manga with superpowers. What kind of sports? Are you talking like fictional sports or actual sports with superpowers? And he says, and there will be new sports that I create where people use their powers. Is it going to be both powers that you create? Sorry, is it going to be both sports that you create and existing sports, or will it only be sports that you create? Also, that's my other laptop in the background making that noise. But yeah, is it gonna be like only custom sports, or will it be a mix of custom sports and pre-existing sports? Let's see. And then Kel said, with that out of the way, I can talk about the power system. Speaking of sports-based like anime with powers, Keijo is pretty dope. I'd highly recommend it if you've never heard of it. So the origin for Kel's power system. During sometime between 1999 and 2000, so I guess sometime during the year 1999. That's the only way that works, Kels. Matt said, Jet, Keijo was cringe. Keijo was pretty good, Matt. Did you watch all of it? I enjoyed the fuck out of Keijo. I almost said Cajun. Keijo. Though I did like, I think it's called Cajun Grill at the mall. They have a nice spicy chicken, but that's not what I'm talking about. But that's what I'm thinking about now. But anyways, yo Matt, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. Don't forget to smash that like button. Truly appreciate it. Matt said no, no, no to the questions. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? Do you have any discussion topics you like to talk about on the stream? Matt said I watched the first episode and regretted my life. Oh, why'd you regret your life? Keijo has some interesting setups. Matt then said, smash that dislike button? Mm-mm-mm. Oh, right now I'm reading over something that Kells has made and posted on the Amino. So Kells is going to be making a web comic called Poker Game. And it's essentially going to be a sports web comic where characters have superpowers and they compete in sports that Kells has made up. Yo, Sam White. Welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Also, don't forget to smash that like button. Truly appreciate it. Let's see. Kel said it's going to be mostly, if not completely, custom sports. Okay, so he's going to keep it to custom sports. Then Matt said, is the sport poker? So I understand where Matt's coming from. I think as the power system is further explained, Matt, you'll understand why it's called poker game. And then Matt said, "Is the sport poker?" And then he said, "I guess not. Even though poker is in the name. Trust the poker is in the name for a reason." Kells has thought this through. Sam White said, "I am good." And Kells, I like that you're going to make your own sports. I do think it's interesting that Kells is going to make his own sports. I'm curious to see what sports he creates, and how superpowers tie into the inner workings of how these sports are played. I was actually just about to go over the origin of Kells' power system, which starts off with a weird sentence during some time between 1999 and 2000, which has to mean like during the year 1999. It's kind of weird that it's between 1999 and 2000. There is no time between it. If it was like between 1998 and 2000, you'd be like, oh, there's like such a big period. The time between 1999 and 2000, that's just 1999. A strange new chemical called spirit. I think that's spirit. The way that the I's and the R's are stacked together, it looks really weird. A strange new chemical called spirit was discovered in the human body while people sleep. Oh, really? Scientists learned that if they take out the chemical and reintroduce it into the body while someone is awake, the spirit and the ATP in someone's body create a chemical reaction and give you superpowers. I think that's an interesting idea. The idea that it's a chemical released while people are asleep, which is why people don't normally have superpowers, but when it's reintroduced to them while they're awake, it gives them abilities. I feel like that's kind of a unique concept. I don't think I've heard about that before. Kell said, after this discovery, because of the world in which poker games takes place in, instead of a World War III with superpowers, these powers were instead used for sports. That was an interestingly phrased sentence. Like instead of going like, and because this world is more peaceful, it's used for sports instead of war. It's like for reasons not disclosed in this world, instead of it being used for war, it's used for sports. Also, it's interesting that it's set up in such a way to where it's like those were the only options. It was either sports or it was like war. Like, why couldn't you have like superpowered war and superpowered sports? You know, we still have war and the Olympics. They're not like mutually exclusive things. It's just interesting. Let's see. You could be like, there is a superpowered war, but we're not focused on that. This is about the sports. You know, you could do anything like that if you wanted to. Let's see. Matt said power system that's a gamble using the word gamble. Wow. So that's what Matt thinks. We haven't even gotten into the details of how the powers work yet. And also, he messed up. Using the word poker is what he means. Then Matt said, lend me your energy. Time to use the spirit bomb. And then Matt said, that is very arguable, Kells. Human nature is pretty terrible. Lend me your energy being the concept of being a gamble actually is interesting. Like if the way that a spirit bomb worked is that people had to bet their life force on it, and then if the attack didn't land, like if it didn't kill the enemy, you died, would be a very interesting risk reward spirit bomb kind of thing. Like if people gambled their lives on the spirit bomb, and if it didn't work to kill the enemy, everybody who lended their energy died. It would be such a like high risk, high reward attack. Because the more people who lend their energy, the more likely it is that the villain dies. But if not enough people lend their energy, then everyone who did just gets fucked. Let's see. Kel said, I'll explain the world of poker game later. Understandable. And then Matt said, Spirit Bomb was a joke on spirit. He says, stop thinking too much into it. I'm not. It's just you were talking about powers being a gamble, and then you mentioned Spirit Bomb and lend me your energy, and I was like, this could go together. Okay. I just feel like that'd be an interesting concept. Let's see. So the next section of this Kel's power system explanation is titled Drive. I don't know what that means, but it's about to be defined. Drive is the product of the reaction between spirit and ATP and is the name of the superpowers. So in this world, I guess they're not called superpowers, they're called drive. To activate your drive, you summon your card. These cards represent your drive and take the appearance of a poker card, but without the numbers. And the different types of cards represent what type of drive you have. Club summons a weapon. Diamond controls some type of material within the area around you. Hearts summons some type of material in which you can control or can control an aspect of the body itself. What? Hearts summon some type of material in which you can control or can summon an aspect of the body itself. So Diamond lets you control anything in your environment that's like made of a material, where Hearts either lets you control part of your own body or a specific material summoned by the Hearts card. I'm not sure if Diamond is better or worse. Because Diamond has a drawback of you can only control stuff around you, where Hearts has the drawback of you can only control whatever it summons, or parts of your own body somehow. Then Matt said also, if the power system was being made for your OC and this world is peaceful, then do they just get bodied by other OCs? Well, depending on how you want to do a death battle, you could make characters bloodlusted where they're not peaceful and they actually do, like throw hands. For example, did anyone see the death battle between Edward Elric and Avatar Aang that came out today? Because in that death battle, they're like, even though Aang is all about peace, for the death battle, it's no holds bar. You're just gonna go in on him. Sam White said, Jet, I think I'm going to start working on the tabletop game again. Oh, ballin'. Sam White, definitely feel free to share information about the tabletop. Always love hearing about you guys' creative pursuits. Also, Matt, the other day, you were talking about Multiverse Man and talking about how there are deeper stories that you think could be told using that character. The same way that you made Jank Heroes Remix, where you were like, this is me taking the good things I liked about Jank Heroes and changing it up the way that I would want it. Feel free to write like a Multiverse Man fan fiction and like post it onto the Amino or something. I think that'd be pretty dope. Matt said, Jet, if you want people to better understand this stuff, we need Amino as much as I dislike it. So you want me to send you the link to your boy Kels's power system? I got you. Here you go. Let's see. Then Matt said, Jet, spoilers are okay, but yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't spoil anything. I just said in the death battle, they they said that they're gonna let Aang go no holds barred. I didn't say who won or lost. I'm just saying Aang isn't nerfed in the death battle because he's like a more peaceful person. Let's see. Sam White said, "Yeah, I had to take a break on it," referring to his RPG, his tabletop RPG that he's working on it. He said, "But I have made some story." Ooh, no spoilers, Sam White. Matt said, Jet, I'm not going to help out bad ideas by making them decent. Well, it wouldn't be for me to publish the fan fiction. You know what I mean? It would just be for us to be able to see what you would do with the Multiverse Man character. Because you're like, I see potential in the character if these kind of stories were written. And you know that those aren't the kind of stories that I'm going to write. But if you do have that interest in the character and you feel like there is potential for him, I'm inviting you to, if you want to, write and like share a fan fiction. I think it'd be fun. Kel said the hearts lets you summon a rock or something that you can control, or you can control an aspect of the body. Do you get to pick what aspect of the body you can control with hearts? Or is it random? Like, could you get the hearts card and it be like you can better control your breathing, and you're like, oh, well, I guess that's what it does, or do you get to choose? Because I think that matters. Spades, going back to Kels's power system, spades manipulates the properties of things around you. Well, spades is just good. Properties is very vague. Can you give things imaginary properties? I could have like a normal gun and use the spades card and be like, the bullets of the gun turn into whatever I imagine. Bam. Like properties, there's so much you can do. Because you can just kind of let loose with changing the properties of something. That's good as fuck. Uh, King summons a bubble that ranges in size, where inside is another dimension. Aspects and properties of the dimension or the person change depending on the suite of the card. Well, what are the different suites that change how the king property thing works? That's interesting. Queen summons a familiar, which powers vary depending on the suite of the card. It's another suite variety one. Some familiars can also have summoning conditions, which can relate to the suite of the card. I don't know how to feel about the ones that are heavily dependent on the suite of the card. Jack supports others in ways depending on the suite of the card. Joker transforms the person into something else. Do you get to choose what the thing is that you get transformed into? Ace, some rare random ability that doesn't fit the other category. So it's like Specialist and Hunter x Hunter. If I could have any one of these cards, depending on how Spades works, Spades. Because Spades sounds good as fuck. If not Spades, I would probably want Diamonds. I'd want Spades or Diamonds. Um, Clubs could also be good if the weapon is literally whatever type of weapon you want, and it itself has like abilities that you define. Uh, Kel said the hearts let you. Oh, I already read that. Kel said you don't pick, and it's not random. Your card slash drive represents you. Ah, but spades lets you manipulate the properties of things around you, and it's not like limited by anything. Because that's pretty good. You could legitimately do whatever you want with spades. Spades is like the reality stone. Spades is really good. um, Matt said, "Kells, can cards mix? Can card? It sounds like everyone only gets one card based on what Kells has stated, unless I'm wrong." Matt said, "Because things like Ace of Spades exist." Oh, well, they have all the different. I keep saying sweet. They have all the different suits, having different effects for King, Queen, and Jack. But those are the only cards where it seems like the suits actually matter. Then Kel said, "It's suit, not sweet." And then Matt said, "It is suit, Jet. Please stop." I got you. I got you. My apologies. Also, I noticed that we have 3 viewers and 1 like. Don't forget to smash that like button. Truly appreciate it. Kel said, "With spades, you change the properties of things around you in a specific way." So anything that's left vague, is it actually specific? And if that's the case, then is diamonds more specific than it seems? Because diamond seems to be control some type of material within the area around you. So is that not any type of material in the area around you, but like very specific? Like you can control wood, but only wood around you, kind of thing. Um, because then diamond seems worse than hearts. Because at least with hearts, you always have that material that you can summon. Where with diamonds, it's like, oh, I guess there's no wood. I can't just summon wood to control. You know what I mean? So let's see. Matt said 3 viewers, 1 like, 2 dislikes. He said, can we get to 3 dislikes? Can we get to 3 likes? Let's see. Matt said, club doesn't make sense in a peaceful world. Oh, summons a weapon? Well, you don't know what the sports are. They could have sports similar to like skeet shooting or like fencing, where you use weapons in the sport. Kel said it's vague because I want there to be a wide variety of abilities. I understand the vagueness. I'm curious about if they're phrased vaguely, but they're actually specific. That's what I'm kind of asking about. Matt said diamond seems alright, and then Kel said hearts takes more energy slash spirit to use. So the cards have different costs to how much they take. I mean, I'm sorry about scoffing. The scoff was kind of unnecessary. But my thought process was like, why? Like, why are some cards more expensive than others? Because you could just. I would have been fine with you saying, to be honest, that Diamond has an advantage over Heart because Heart's only. Let's say Heart's, because of the way it's phrased, it can summon some type of material that you can control. But let's say you had Hearts and you could like manipulate water. I imagine Hearts only summons so much water. I don't think you get the Hearts card and you're like, I have the whole ocean. It's nothing like that. But then with diamonds, you could be like, I'm surrounded by ocean. I could be like on an island or something. And because of my location, I suddenly can manipulate so much more water than someone who's using the hearts card and can only manipulate the amount of water that they summoned. You know what I mean? I feel like the spirit cost is like an unnecessary thing to just make hearts seem weaker for no reason, even though hearts is already kind of weaker depending on the circumstance. Let's see. Matt said, I was going to say that heart is just a better diamond, but depending on energy cost, it might be fine. I'm not a fan of the energy cost thing. That's so weird. Then Matt said, though it's still weird that the two suits do similar things. Well, I feel like they do very different things when you think about the amount of material that can be summoned. Unless Hearts is like you can summon unlimited amounts of that material, then I feel like Diamond could potentially be better because you could be like in a factory. Well, not a factory. Well, I mean, a factory could work. You could be in a factory where they make like metal gears or whatever. Metal gear. And you could have someone who has the heart's ability to manipulate metal, but they can only manipulate the metal that they summon. And you could have someone with the diamond's ability to manipulate metal, and they're like, I can manipulate every gear in this factory. I can use all the gears, and I can just like dunk on you, or at least all the gears within their immediate area, which could still be more metal than the person with hearts can summon. Let's see. So Kel said they're phrased vaguely, but the powers are actually specific. Thank you kindly for clarifying. I truly appreciate it. That helps clear up a few things. Then Matt said, and even Spade seems way too similar to Diamond and Heart. So Spades manipulates the properties of things around you, which is very different. Properties and manipulation are actually very similar. Fuck me. Yeah, no, because properties is well, no, 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 no. They are different. The reason why they're different is because spades is specific. Instead of being able to manipulate all the properties of something, you can only manipulate maybe like a specific property of a material. Unless spades is unlimited property manipulation but specific material, which would actually upset me. Because then it's still just the power to do anything. The way they're phrased, it actually is very easy to misconstrue how these powers work without like more clarification. Uh, let's see. And then Matt said, like, the bottom line of these three suits is manipulate thing, which is true. They all do manipulate something. Um, then Kel said, what I mean it's weird that you put it's there. What I mean it's that it would take more energy to make a whole new thing than to mess with something already there. I suppose that is true. Does that is that actually consequential though? Like is that like a plot point where someone could be like, "Aha, so you thought that you could dunk the basketball, but because of the fact that you summoned the basketball, you don't have enough energy to move it. Luckily, with my diamond's ability, I am able to dunk the basketball just fine because I didn't have to use any spirit to create it." Is it like something like that? Um Then Matt said, also, given the context of kings, queens, jacks, jokers, and aces, then some people are just objectively worse than others. Talking about the specific character cards. I think king is pretty dope, depending on the properties of the dimension they summon. Uh, Queen is really weird. I don't like the idea that your power is that you summon somebody else and that other person has a power and it's like, oh no. Like it just instead of you just having a cool ability, it's you making someone who has a cool ability and it just seems kind of worse. Also, I imagine Queen is probably worse than the other cards because it's probably like it takes more spirit to make a whole other nigga to then use a power instead of having a card that could do the same thing and you just do it. You know what I mean? So it's an interesting situation. Let's see. So where are we at? So Matt said since those people have both the special card effect and the regular suit effect. So it's not, Matt, that they have a stacking effect. It's not that you get the card effect and the suit effect. It's just the effect of the card varies depending on the suit. Sam said, so Jet, I have a Google Docs file with all of my game's info, and I was wondering if you would like to hear what it has on it. I'd like to hear more about the game and its mechanics. I'd like to keep story spoilers to a minimum. Kel said, can I get on an amino call to explain it? I'm not currently in a position for an amino call. How? Well, actually, we've never done an amino call. I don't know how well that would go, but I guess I'd be willing to try it out to see what it's like. Well, I guess the only thing that I'd be afraid of with an amino call, I don't want Kells to just straight up steal the show. I'm fine with talking about the blog, but I don't want it to be a thing where it's like, and then I'm like interrupting Kells because I'm trying to like read the live chat and stuff like that. I kind of want everyone to be limited to the live chat only so that I don't over prioritize one person over another. Matt said King lets you summon a reality marble from Fate. Never seen Fate, though. I guess that's a thing. Who does reality marbles? Also, do reality marbles work the same way? Broly said, "Are you letting your hair grow like a beautiful girl?" Uh, Not necessarily like a girl, but yeah, I'm letting it grow. Yo, Broly, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? Do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on stream? And don't forget to smash that like button. Truly appreciate it. Matt said Queen is alright, though if anything, I would degrade that to just a suit. I understand that the changing of the familiar based upon the suit is what he meant to say. He said the familiar again. Is the idea of tying it to a special card, but by itself, it seems sort of lame for a special card. So you think the summoning a familiar with different powers is kind of like booty butt cheeks and not good enough to be a face card? I'm not sure if I necessarily agree with that. Though I do think it's kind of lame because it sounds like it would have one of the highest spirit cost. Because not only are you spending spirit to create something, but then you're spending spirit to create something that then uses powers for you instead of you using powers. It just seems like having a lot less control over an ability that one of the other cards probably can just do. Sam White said, well, not all of it, but the first part of the game. Is it game info based specifically on the story or based specifically on mechanics? If it's story based game info, Sam White, then I would rather avoid spoilers if possible. Matt said, Jack is strangely worded since it seems like an enhancement card effect, but that doesn't seem like the full case. Jack supports others in ways depending on the suit of the card. It seems like Jack exists to help other people. So I imagine like Jack of Hearts is probably like a healing card or something like that. Kel said, I'm fine if you interrupt me. Um, I'm not very good about like interrupting people. I always feel weird doing it. And then Matt said, also do the call. Who honestly cares, Jet? What? I want to keep the flow going of the conversation. Then Matt said, I am somewhat down for Kels's idea, but I feel the foundation needs a decent amount of work. So hearing the idea talked out might make it better. And he said Joker's okay. Joker could have a variety of different things that it could do, considering it can just turn you into anything, more or less. Sam White said, yeah, story, but it's not all done. I wouldn't mind hearing any story bits that I would hear essentially at the beginning of the game, anyways. I wouldn't want to hear any story bits that are supposed to unfold over the course of a campaign, if that makes sense. Matt said Ace is very weird since it's meant as a wild card effect, but if anything, I would have kept that hidden for a bit rather than having it in the base idea. There's nothing wrong with having it in the base idea. So it's very similar to what Hunter x Hunter does with Specialist, where the Specialist Nin type ability is like anything that is not defined by the other Nin type abilities lie within Specialists. And the idea is that it's rare. Like, very few people are Specialist. I don't think that's a crazy thing to give away. I guess Matt's saying it's a giveaway because as soon as we see someone is introduced and they have the ace card, then we know that it's some bullshit. You know what I mean? I understand where Matt's coming from, but you could always have the card obfuscated. So you could have people like playing one of Kel's custom sports, and then as they're playing the game, their card isn't made immediately obvious. Maybe it's tucked in a pocket or something. And then after they use this crazy ability that no one's ever seen before, they like slide the card out of their pocket and they're like, bitch. And it's like, oh, they had the ace card all along. Oh, it could be something like that. Uh, then Matt said, sort of made ace wielders a special and sudden reveal. And then he said, also, Ace is sort of just a cop out in the grand scheme of things. And then Matt said, but Jet, you have to summon the card to use it. Depending on how the rules of the sport are laid out, you could summon your card maybe not necessarily at the beginning of the sport. And you also could potentially summon your card maybe before the start of the game. Like, you could even have sports where the whole point is that you don't know what the other people's cards are. I feel like there's a good bit you can do with that, especially since the rules to the sports have not really been made clear. Then Matt said, how overly dramatic is card summoning? It could be hella stealthy, depending on how Kels wants to write it. It also could be very obvious, but you could do things in order to try and be like, well, the enemy team is trying to get the ball to the other side. I can summon my card. And even though my card has a dramatic animation sequence, the other people are actively using their powers in order to move the ball across the court. So they're not going to notice me summon my card now in order to then reappear on the other side of the field using my teleportation ability thanks to my ace card. Because I just realized teleportation is actually one of the few things that is not defined by the other cards. Unless Hearts lets you teleport, which I highly doubt. But I get maybe since it manipulates the body or controls an aspect of the body itself, controls the location of the body. I guess you could use Hearts to teleport. That is an idea. Let's see. Then Matt said, how overly dramatic is card summoning? And then he said, can I slow down the card in front and speed up the card in the back? Nice Chrono Rulers reference. Um, I had something I was going to say, but I lost my train of thought. Oh, the ace card I don't think is a cop out in the grand scheme of things. I understand what you mean because you're like the ace card could literally do anything because unlike the other cards that have defined limits, the ace card does not. I don't think that's true. The ace card does have defined limits because it cannot be any of the other cards. So anything another card can do, the ace card cannot do by definition. So those are the limitations of the ace card. It's not like a all-encompassing thing. If anything, it is heavily restricted because unlike the other cards that have a good bit of overlap, ace cannot overlap with them by definition. Kel said, Jet, it seems that everyone's down for the call. And then Matt said, all two of us. is down for Kells getting the call. We can try an amino call. Um, Hopefully it works out. This will be our first time doing something like that. Let's try it. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, also, Kells, did you take inspiration from Hunter x Hunter at all when coming up with Poker Game? I ask because Hunter x Hunter is a pretty good show that focuses a lot on putting characters in challenges that aren't necessarily fights and then having them use their powers in order to try and cleverly overcome the challenges. In most cases, the challenges in Hunter x Hunter also feature rules, so they feel a lot like games without necessarily straight up being games. And this feels very similar, considering how the powers are separated into different categories in a similar way to Hunter x Hunter. However, in Hunter x Hunter, you can have multiple different ability types, where in this you're restricted to one. So that is like a limitation that Hunter x Hunter does not have in its system. Um, I guess I covered my main idea of why I was asking the question. Like, is Hunter x Hunter an inspiration? Because it just feels like it has some similar aspects to it, while still being unique and being its own thing. Not saying it's like a ripoff or anything. Then Kevin said, "I am here to save you," and he said, "Furry man, here I am." Lol. Yo, Kevin, welcome to the stream. It's good to have you. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Kells is interested in doing an amino call where he would call me over amino and discuss his new webcomic that he's creating, Poker Game. Poker Game is a webcomic he's going to be making featuring characters who have unique superpowers, which they are able to activate by summoning a poker card directly related to themselves. Each poker card they summon has a unique ability that is connected to them, and each person can only summon one poker card. It's going to be a sports based webcomic, not a fighting webcomic, though there are combat based sports, so there could be some overlap there. Kevin said, "You can call over Amino? Really? Like how?" It's kind of like a PM style thing. So through the private messenger, you can call people. I need to sign into Amino on my computer so that I don't get dicked. I just imagine Kels tries to call me over Amino. I don't have Amino logged in on my computer. It interrupts the stream because Amino is also connected to my phone. So let's see how this goes. So Kel says he's going to start the call now. So let's see what's going to happen. Because we haven't done an amino call before. It might still interrupt the stream because it might call on the computer and, excuse me, on the phone simultaneously. Excuse me, sorry about that hiccup. But yeah, we've been talking about Kels's upcoming webcomic, Poker Game. So that seems like it's going to be hype. Kevin said, ring ring, nice sound effect, lol. How can I tell when I'm getting a call? Oh, I got a message from someone on here. What should I make the list so everyone that wants to play can see it? Oh, you should make an amino post about it. There we go. I got a message from Sam and I hadn't gotten back to him. I'm sorry, Sam. I just now replied to your message. Oh, I see. So I think whenever Kels is trying to call me, it says unsupported message, view on app. Can you only call me if you do it through the app rather than doing it through the desktop version? Huh. The more you know. That actually, I did not know that before. Also, Shuri-chan sent me some voice messages, but I have no idea what they are. I'm not going to click them, because Shuri-chan could have literally said anything in those voice messages, and I don't want to put Shuri-chan on blast. Let's see. Kevin said, if you haven't already, hit that like button and hit that bell. Thank you kindly, Kevin. Truly appreciate it. We now have 3 viewers and 3 likes. Definitely appreciate the love. Kel said, I guess you can only call on the app. Dun 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 dun. Dun. Wow. Dun 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 dun. Yo, Ryan, welcome to the stream. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics you'd like to talk about on the stream? Kevin said, Hi, Ryan. Then Matt said, The other 2 sections are a lot shakier. Kel said, If you have a Discord account, we can use that. I'm not about that Discord. I am not la fan of the Discord. Also, we can always just type things. We have the live chat at our disposal. We have hands and we have keyboards. Oh, Ryan, don't forget to smash that like button. Truly appreciate it. How's your day today? Do you have any questions for your boy? And do you have any discussion topics that you like to talk about on the stream? We currently have 4 viewers, 3 likes. Can we get it to 4 viewers and 4 likes? Truly appreciate it. Right now, we're talking about Kels's poker game webcomic. It's going to be a sports based webcomic where characters will be playing in custom sports created by Kels and have superpowers that are based on poker cards that they are able to summon that grant them different abilities. Each person has their own unique poker card that has its own special power. Matt said, Jet doesn't use Discord. Jet is a hater. I am not a fan of the Discord. You are correct. Boom, 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 boom. Other discussion topics outside of poker game that I'd also be interested in discussing. Um, I saw the death battle of Edward Elric versus Avatar Ong. I also have been working on Superpower Battles Volume 4, and I've now completed the outlines for all 4 of the stories that are going to be included in Superpower Battles Volume 4, featuring my boy Multiverse Man, that Matt is not a fan of. Kel said, Can you send voice messages on Amino? Now, you can do that. That would be an interesting way to get around it. So you could send a voice message to me, and then I could play it. Matt said, step ups are a weird pigeonhole of advancement. So Matt is now talking about parts of the poker game power system that I will not be reading on tonight's vlog. I'm only reading part 1 of the poker game power system on tonight's vlog. Kevin said, I don't blame Jet for not using Discord. If it wasn't for friends using it, I won't use it too. Discord is known for being spyware, and the same for the Epic Store. Laughter, but with Epic Store, they sell your data. Then Matt said, also, did you just pull the wrong Ang pronunciation? And then he said, Jet, just read the other parts. They aren't long. You know I limit it to only so much. And then Matt said, it took me 1.5 minutes. Also, Kel sent us a voice message. I guess we're going to listen into that.
So I did a bad job explaining the
Kels, your voice is way deeper than I thought. I always imagined your voice as Miles Morales from the Spider-Verse movie. Anyways, back to what you were saying.
power on the post itself because I was trying to condense it to make it easier for everyone. But I guess that was a bad idea because now we're in this situation. So I'll explain it in a sec.
Oh, I don't think you did like a bad job of explaining it. I just feel like there was enough left open in order to possibly get the wrong idea or come up with different interpretations. That doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that it seemed very open. Kevin said, ops, not laughter. I mean, laugher, or however you spell it. I don't know what laugher is. Then Matt said, Jet, you will be the only person to hear Kells, so interpret for us. What? What do you mean? I played it like through the TV. Could you guys not hear that? I have the laptop volume turned all the way up. Kells said that he like didn't mean to be so vague, more or less. And then Matt said, we can't hear that clearly. What? What?
So the cards aren't things you can just like buy off the shelf from your local Kmart. You have like it's a
I like that you said Kmart. Then Kevin said, I can hear it though. So, Kels, I don't think anyone misconstrued that you could buy the cards. I think we all recognize that you can use spirit in order to like summon the cards. And then Kevin said, I can hear it though. And then Matt said, we can hear it, not clearly though.
manifestation of your drive. You just get it.
Also, I just realized the power system has so many steps to it. It's your spirit manifest into your drive, which manifests into a poker card, which you can then use in order to use your ability. It seems like there are so many steps to get to the card. That's like if Dragon Ball was like, so you have ki, but you can't just go from having ki in your body to having ki attacks. You have ki, which you use to summon your artifact, which you then use in order to summon some magical ability. It's like why are there so many steps to like get to that point? Have a great night, Dad. Have a wonderful night, Grace. Um, let's see. Kevin said I meant ops and Epic Store. Launcher. Oh, I see. He said words. Why do we? Why do you have to be so hard? Oh, no problem. I even slip up on words sometimes. It happens to the best of us.
And you don't pick and choose anything. It's just what you are.
Yeah, and I feel like we got a good idea of the idea that the cards are directly related to like you as a person.
So with spades does sound really OP.
Oh, real quick, Matt posted in the live chat. Matt said, so the ability system seems to be pull spirit from the sleeping body once, inject spirit into the awake body to get drive once, and the drive manifests into the card. But then after it manifests into the card, you have to use that card in order to use the ability. So it's not just that like you have the card and you're good forever. It's you have to summon the card, and I imagine the card also can go away. So you have to have the card in order to use the power. I'm just saying a lot of power systems are like you have the energy inside you. You then use that energy to like use an ability. For the way that he has it set up, it's like you have the energy inside you. You use that energy to manifest a card, and then you use that card to do a thing. And then Matt said it's not overly complex since you don't have to do it over and over again just once. And he said, no, the card is permanent. I guess that's a question I have. Is the card permanent? Or does the card occasionally like fade away and then you have to resummon it? I kind of always imagined the summoning of the card being something you did right before you needed to use a power, and then the card goes away once you're done using the power. I also thought that if you didn't have the power that you couldn't no, sorry. I also thought that if you didn't have the card that you couldn't use the power. Like if the card wasn't on your person, you couldn't use the ability. I thought it was kind of tied to the card. Kels, can you elaborate on that a little bit more? I know that you've sent multiple messages and you may have already elaborated on it. I'm not sure. Matt said the system is sort of like an awakening of latent ability. We'll see, Matt.
With
Oh
diamond,
shoot, I clicked the wrong thing.
but the powers are specific. For example, someone's power could be like, I can make objects around me bouncy, or I can make objects around me slippery. So spades can be powerful, but the way I phrased it made it sound like you can do anything.
I
So that's
like
my fault on my end.
I like how you said anything, Kels. The specific inflection on anything reminds me of how Cosmonaut Variety Hour speaks on YouTube. That's pretty dope. You have a really nice voice, Kels. So Kels, in case you guys couldn't hear him, was talking about how Spade essentially only allows you to change one property, but of anything in your environment. So you can make things in your environment bouncy or slippery, were examples that Kells gave. I'm curious if you could do stuff like make things suddenly on fire. That'd be pretty powerful. Spade still seems like one of the best ones to just be able to change the properties of anything in your environment. Even if it's only one property, that's pretty good. Uh, it has very wide reaching effects.
Okay, well, before I get into diamonds and hearts,
Also, before I get into what he's saying, I want to make sure that I read the rest of the live chat. Matt said, that being said, the cards themselves are sort of a pigeonhole since they are tied to the goal you are aiming to achieve. And since the card manifests once, it theoretically doesn't change with the changing of goals. Matt, I feel like you might be misinterpreting the power system. I think the card acts almost like a wand. Like it lets you use the ability of the card to do whatever you're intending to do, but only if you have the card on your person. I think. Matt said, and since the card. Oh, I already read that. Then Kevin said, OPS versus ops. Sounds like oopsie to me for some reason, I guess. Oh, okay. Then Matt said, so giving kids drives will cause weird things, since the goal could be random, and they also won't be satisfied after their card manifests when they get older. What is the thing about goals, Matt? You're throwing me. Is that something that he mentions later? And then Kel said, "All right, I'm back." Then Matt said, "Also, I have read the other two sections and you have not." Oh, I see. So yeah, you know more information than I do. That
I
is true.
don't need to explain. What was it? Clubs. I don't need to explain clubs because that's
Oh,
obvious.
wait a minute. I had started a different
The
one.
whole cost thing, it's really arbitrary. I didn't mean it to sound like, oh, that guy is 30 spirit, oh, that guy is 60 spirit. It's just that, like,
I like that you also do the mocking voice thing, Kels, where you go, because I also do that. Uh, but it does feel arbitrary, the like spirit amounts that people have and spend when they use different cards. But I imagine that'll be touched up upon in other parts. I'm just curious to see how that's gonna work.
things would just logically take more energy than other things would. So with the diamonds, you can manipulate something around you, um, like just like that. Like someone's power could be, I can manipulate iron, and they can manipulate the iron around them. But with hearts, they would
If you could manipulate iron, you could do like blood bending and shit. You could really actually mess some people up with that ability. You would technically have iron around you as long as you were around like blood.
have to like use their spirit energy to generate the iron, and then they can control it. So like the downside of hearts is that you have to make it and it uses more energy, but you can always have it. And the downside with diamonds is that um, like it has to be around you for you to make for you to control it.
Now, will the amount of spirit for different cards be like quantified? So that we know. And does everyone start with the same amount of spirit? Because that would be an interesting thing to show in the comic. If everyone starts with like 100 spirit, and each person has a different card, and each card has a different like spirit cost. So every time they use their power, we can see their spirit like decrease, and we can be like, "Oh no, homeboy's almost out of spirit." And once he's out of spirit, he can't use his card anymore, kind of thing. I think that would be really interesting. If we got that insight.
Um, with King, so actually there wasn't anything confusing about King. That was pretty obvious. So I would just say that like with King, like I don't have anything right now, but like you get them.
Also, Kels, you might want to go back a little bit. I've had like multiple reactions to like things that you've said because I've been playing them one at a time and reacting to them as I play them. So you've probably missed like a few things that I've said that are like questions. Because I'll like play a thing and then be like, oh, and then I'll like go back to playing it and stuff like that.
With Queen, I know you don't like because you have to summon a guy.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
That is true.
um, yeah, how do I say this? So with Queen, that Queen is when you summon a familiar. I know it's to you it sounds lame because it's like, oh, you don't even get to do anything. It's some other dude who gets to do it. But
Not only do you not get to do it because you summon the other thing, and summoning the other thing takes more energy. Um, oh, that's what I was about to say. Yeah, you also have to spend energy to make the thing, and the thing's not even the power itself. So it's like I spent spirit to make a dragon, but then the dragon's ability is that he can manipulate iron, and it's like, oh, like just using my power isn't enough to get the effect of the power.
you can basically control it. Think of it kind of like a stand, even though it's not the best comparison. Sometimes the familiar can have free will, and I know that sounds bad because then it's like, oh, that means sometimes it won't even listen to you.
Right, right. That is true. That is what I'm thinking.
But I think it's just like it would lead to more interesting scenarios, like within the story, because it's like, oh, I want the spirit to do, not the spirit, I want the familiar to do this thing, but the familiar is like, that's outside of its morals, or like he doesn't want to do it. And like it could lead to some story thingies. And I understand why you don't like it, but I don't see what's wrong with it.
So I understand that it could be interesting from a story perspective. It just kind of sucks only because I could see two people having like essentially the same exact familiar ability, but the personalities of their familiars are different. So the one who has the personality familiar that's just reluctant just sucks. Like compared to the other one. And it's not like a card by card basis thing. It's like even within its own suit, it also is the only one that has that type of drawback. Like against itself, you could still actually be in a worse scenario based on the personality of your familiar. Real quick, let me scroll back up and read some more live chat. Um, where are we? So Kel said, "All right, I'm back." Matt said, "Also, I have read the other two sections and you have not." Jet, just read the two sections. Stop thinking it's such a bad thing. We are all clearly here for the discussion of this poker world, so none of us mind. Being able to manipulate iron makes you Magneto. Magneto can do much more than manipulate iron. Matt said, Jet, ideally, the world is crafted in such a manner that it isn't too gamey and unrealistic, even in a world with powers. So, quantifying the amount of spirit that someone has in their body and the amount of spirit being used whenever they do abilities, um, I think is actually very interesting for a story. How often in Dragon Ball are they like, oh, I'm all out of power, or I've only used 20% of my power? Stuff like that actually can make a story feel more dynamic, and can give you more insight into what's going on. It'd actually be very interesting if within poker game, the athletes have like technology hooked up to them where the audience can see how much spirit they have and how much spirit they're spending. And then it's like a part of the narrative as well as a part of the viewer experience for the person reading the book. It's also part of the experience for the audience watching. I feel like it could be rather like dynamic. I keep saying dynamic. It's interesting because it adds a level of strategy to it that is measurable. Instead of saying this card takes more spirit to use and we don't have a definitive number put on it, so it's just an arbitrary statement. It's like this costs 30 spirit, but that means I'll only have 70 spirit left and my opponent will still be at 100. So I have to make sure that what I'm going to do is actually worth spending that much spirit. It puts strategy into the equation and can lead to very interesting scenarios that feel grounded within the system and don't feel too loose or just arbitrary. Let's see. Kevin said, nice voice, Kels. I agree. that Kels has a nice voice. I mentioned that earlier. I originally thought Kels sounded like Miles Morales, Spider Man in my head until I actually heard his voice, and I was like, oh wow, Kels has a surprisingly deep voice. Only because, like I said, I was imagining Miles Morales, Spider Man before, uh, from like the Spider Verse voice or whatever. But I do think you have a nice voice. Let's see. Kevin says that he has a deep voice, and he says he hates how his voice sounds. I'm sorry to hear that. I imagine you have a cool voice. And he said, but I'm growing to love it and not hate like I used to. I'm glad that you're starting to love your voice. Kel said the amount of spirit won't be quantified. There's a limited amount, but I'm not going to give numbers. Man, I'm telling you, it would be, you can do a lot with having it be like defined. And also, Matt's talking about because it's like he doesn't want to be gamey. There's things called poker game, and it's about people playing games that have rules and strategy and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I feel like it fits. That's like if you had life points in Yu-Gi-Oh, and you're like they have like a set amount of life, but I'm not gonna disclose how much life they have. Now there is a difference in Yu-Gi-Oh, of course, because life points actually determines like win condition. So how about instead of life points, I'm gonna do a Yu-Gi-Oh manga, but I'm not gonna show how many cards are in their hand. But I'm gonna refer to hands and drawing, but I'm never gonna show it. You know what I mean? Seeing the number of cards someone has can change, like it can make or break the scene, and it can really show the strategy that's being put into the game and how resources are being spent. The same way that you'd want to see how many cards are in a player's hand, the more you'll be able to. I just saw Matt's latest message. Okay, you guys get the point of what I'm saying. Moving forward, I want to get through the chat before I have to end the stream. You're right, Matt. Um, where we at? 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 Something about spirit. Da 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 da. Okay, where are we at? Matt said, good on you, Kels. Although, I would still make it so that people can at least get general spirit estimates since these people are competing and want the best of the best. Then Kels said, I'll see your reactions at the end of the stream. Okay, ballin', understandable. Matt said, also, powers can't be the same since personalities of the card user impacts the card itself. What if our personalities are so close almost everything about our powers are the same except our familiar's personalities? What if it's literally like a clone of someone? Let's see. Matt said, but Jet, for the key thing, do they say, oh man, I only have 30 key left? So Dragon Ball, they're not as exact with their numbers. Hunter x Hunter can actually be really exact with their aura, but they talk in percentages. Also, Dragon Ball sometimes talks in percentages, where people will be like, I've only used 20% of my power. And then Matt said, because that just seems silly. Then Kel said, I actually used a voice changer, and I am Miles. Also, Kels, did I play through all your voice chat messages? Because they all look very similar, I now am unsure if I played through all of them. Let's see. Not Kels. Kevin said, lol. Matt said, Jet, you better get through this chat. He said, don't you dare leave without reading everything. And he said, nope, the card is still different, and theoretically, the familiars can't be that identical. Uh, mm. Then Matt said, percent is still better than actual figures, but you can just calculate it. It's like a similar thing. Anyways, percentages would be pretty dope. I'd love that. Then Kel said, no, you have a few left. What are the ones that I have left? I am running out of the time. Ooh, ooh. I don't know what was the last one that was played. Because once one finishes playing, it doesn't like change.
So you basically understood Jack. And Jack is like, I'd say Jack is like the most vague because it can just support others depending on its suit. But like, it just, that's just what it does. I needed a support somewhere in there, so Jack had to be the support. To me, it made sense.
Also, I won't normally go beyond the normal time for the stream. Beth is currently watching a movie, so she's not immediately available, anyways. But normally I do use this time from 9 to 10 to message with Beth.
Because it's like, because Jack,
Also, I'm not going until 10. I'm just hearing out the rest of Kels' messages and reacting, and then I'm going to end the stream. Also, don't forget to smash that like button if you haven't already.
I'm not quite sure exactly what a Jack is, but to me, like Jack sounded like in my head, Jack was like the right hand man. You know, like Jack is like your best pal, and he's gonna help you. So the power of a Jack card is to support others.
So Kels, I think it's very interesting that you were like, I didn't Google it. We all have Google, dude. You're like, I didn't look into what jacks are, but based on my assumption of what jacks are, it's like you could just confirm it. What if you looked up what jacks were and they just weren't what you thought at all? You know what I mean?
Jokers. Now, I think Joker is pretty cool. Yeah, it does sound kind of lame because you just turned into something else. But like that something else could be.
Joker doesn't sound not Joker. Yeah, Joker doesn't sound lame at all, Kels. Joker sounds cool as fuck. You know who turns into stuff? Ben 10 turns into stuff. Transforming into things. You know who else transforms? Goku. You know who else is transformed? Gon from Hunter x Hunter. Transformations are sick. People love transforming. You know who else transforms? Sailor Moon. Most magical girls, if not like almost all magical girls. This is transformations pretty sick. I don't think anybody's hating on transformations.
Be lit. Like, sure, depending on the person, you could turn into like a toaster. I mean, like, you would have to be like a toaster kind of dude to turn into a toaster, but you get what I mean. But like someone else,
You have to be a toaster kind of dude to turn into a toaster. You get what I mean. Kells 2019. That is a fantastic quote.
they could turn into like a vampire. You know, like the thing you turn into could be really cool, but it could also be really bad. But sometimes it wouldn't matter if it's bad, because like if you're smart, like even if you are a toaster, you could like wrap the wire around someone's throat or something. I don't know. Like
Wait, if you're a toaster,
um,
can you still
I
freely
think
move like a normal person? Like if you turned into a toaster, could you like still walk around and like move your cord and stuff? Because that actually isn't that bad. When you said turn into a toaster, I imagine you couldn't do shit outside of like toaster stuff, like move
Joker's
your
now. I
slot up and
think
down.
Joker is pretty cool. Yeah, it does sound kind of lame
Oh,
because you get
already listened to that one. Okay.
and I don't need to explain Ace. You already get Ace. It's like the specialist from Hunter x Hunter.
True.
You can just do
True.
anything within the other categories. Oh, I also would like to mention that an ace could be a combination of two other categories. Because it's like, let's say like he had the power of hearts of a heart and a spade. Not like super powers, but the power like has aspects of both archetypes. So like it wouldn't fit in either one because it has aspects of both. So like I should mention that about the ace.
Okay, so Ace can just be objectively better than other ones. I'm kind of not a fan of that. I'm kind of not a fan of the idea of Ace legitimately just being able to be like a combo, because that's just better. That's actually just better.
Real quick, I just thought of a way a familiar can be helpful.
Matt said, I feel a
Like,
support card still
because
makes
let's
sense in
just
the
say you're
system,
fighting a
just the
dude
context might be off.
like in basketball or some junk,
And he said,
and
you
like
have to be a
I
marble.
don't know, like you're just playing around, and someone's like about like to stab you or some junk from behind.
What
Not that
game
that
is
would
this?
actually happen. I'm just giving a scenario
It's a
where
death
something bad
game.
would happen, and your familiar would notice and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna help real quick," and like save your life or like help you win the game. But like I understand that there.
Hold on. Beth is hitting me up. I am almost done with the vlog. Uh, please give me one quick moment. Okay. After I finish listening, I gotta cut it off. I gotta end the
There are
stream.
times where it's worse, but there's plenty of times where a familiar could be helpful and like help you in ways that like you couldn't, you know. like if you need to like what does it say, like
Matt
you
says
you're
he's
like
okay with
trying to
Ace being
grab the
objectively
ball,
better. It
but the
allows for
guy's
the
moving
power of
so too
friendship to
fast. But
overcome.
your familiar is like a
No.
fairy or some junk and can move hecka fast. So the familiar goes and gets the ball and then gives it to you, and now you have the ball.
I was thinking you're gonna say something along the lines of the familiar can like be another player on the team. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, make sure to smash that like button. Favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding. Ring that notification bell to be notified whenever we do these live streams. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black, the one and only, logging out. Peace.